welcome to the 1987 Speedo Grand Final, the reigning premiers, Hawthorn.
Well, I haven't seen Jason Dunstall out there. Apparently he was going to do a test even as late as this morning to see if he'd got over that injured ankle, and it appears that Jason Dunstall, the Hawthorn full forward with 94 goals for the season, third on the goal-kicking list, is not out there for the Hawks. And one of their emergencies, Darren Pritchard, playing his first season in the VFL, having been recruited from Tasmania. Number 41 there is in the Hawks lineup. So a shame for Jason Dunstall, who kicked 6 in the grand final last year, and if he'd played today and done it again, he'd have made 100.
Well, during the week when Hawthorn trained, he looked very, very proppy during training, and Lee Matthews was only saying yesterday that he felt that he had to have a couple of injections to get through the training procedure on Thursday night. Obviously, they were hoping he could come up on the day, but after he's cooled down, it's been too much for Jason Dunstall. And Pritchard, who well, came into the side this year after being a draft player for the Hawthorn Football Club, and when you consider that Hawthorn had last pick on the draft and he was round about their third or fourth choice, he's done very, very well to find himself in the Hawthorn lineup, which would have been the most difficult one to have broken into, being the reigning premiers. So bad luck for Jason Dunstall, but who knows, Darren Pritchard may cover himself in glory and have a sensational grand final.
The Blues, Carlton, trying to make up for the disappointment of their defeat last year. And on the banner, interesting to see the faces there of Des English and Peter Motley. Motley after a car accident this year, and Des English battling cancer. They were their halfback flankers just 12 months ago in the grand final. Both here today, but unfortunately battling serious illnesses and injuries.
Blues slightly behind schedule, and we're told not out of their rooms yet.
Well, what a fantastic banner by the Carlton cheer squad to have Peter Motley and Des English there, and certainly they have been an inspiration to this side during the other two final appearances this year, or Carlton's, of course, second semi-final appearance, but right through leading up until today's grand final.
Kernahan, the skipper. Big Justin Madden, the vice-captain. Carlton, the Blues.
With that strong wind, those cheer squad leaders just cannot hold the banner up, and so the Blues, I reckon, will halt there for a while until they get the banner back up to allow the team to run through.
And look at the Hawthorn members of their cheer squad, and that helping out too, so there's a great sign. They've got a great camaraderie, the cheer squad people, and there we see the Hawthorn ones helping out.
And now the blue and white balloons hit the air, And the MCG bathed in sunshine today. It's more like the first day of a test match than VFL Grand Final day, with the temperature reaching 31 degrees in Melbourne, and the ground is as spectacular a sight as you would ever see in the sporting world. Start of the match less than 10 minutes away, and perhaps the Blues, the side feeling the pressure a little bit more at the moment, as they were the team that came here and were beaten last year. They have much to atone for.
I think, Tim, some people, and I certainly am one of them, believe that Hawthorn play better on the MCG than they do out at VFL Park. I don't think there's any doubt that there is some slight pace problem in the Hawthorn side, which can be overcome more so on the MCG than it can out at VFL Park. And last year they were able to reverse that second semi-final defeat with a fantastic grand final performance when they completely outgunned the Blues, and I suppose it's just going to be interesting to see whether history can repeat itself.
Mark Nailey, who was wearing a sleeveless jumper earlier in the season, seems to have taken to wearing sleeves, and even in 31 degrees he's got the sleeves on today. Why do you think he'd do that?
Well, I don't think that's a very good thing to do. And you see now he's already rolling up the sleeves. When you get very, very hot playing football, it does take away a lot of your energy. Often you feel tired because you feel hot and sticky, and you certainly are not comfortable. And I would think that it's not really the correct thing to do on a 30 degrees day, and that is to wear a long sleeve woolen jumper when you're playing sport. And I wouldn't be surprised at some stage that he doesn't change that. Already has the sleeves rolled up, and if you're going to have the sleeves rolled up, you might as well not have them on.
Interesting that with the late withdrawal of Jason Dunstall, Pritchard has taken his place. Richard Loveridge, who was another emergency, misses out. Loveridge has played 5 grand finals, and Pritchard in his first season just 1 final.
Well, I think that's one of the interesting things about the Hawthorn selection. We've spoke a lot about the great roving combination of John Platten and Loveridge. And, of course, grand final day, they decided to break up that combination.
Stand by for the playing of the national anthem.
Teams preparing to line up for it. A lot of nervous tension out there in front of this big crowd. Of course, a lot of these players have gone through it before. It's the second year in succession. It's a Carlton Hawthorn grand final. But some of the Hawks, like skipper Michael Tuck, is playing in his 8th grand final. Wayne Johnston for Carlton, playing in his 5th since 1979. Kevin Bartlett, you've been out there plenty of times too. Does the heart still go bump even though you've been there before?
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Drew. I think if you didn't have some butterflies in your stomach, well, then you're probably not doing yourself justice. But once the siren sounds and that initial roar after the first 10 minutes, it does become another game. Your concentration is such that really the crowd noise is blanked completely out of your mind. This part here where you're very aware of what's going on around you with bands and marching girls on the ground, and of course the great crowd and the way that they respond when you come onto the arena. I mean, that's still with you at this particular stage. But 10 minutes into the game, it's going to be down to hard yakka, hard work, and great amount of concentration. And I think Alan Jean said also on ABC last night that when it all boils down, it is just another game of league football, but there is tremendous pressure, and of course the result means so much to these sides who have just fought so hard right throughout the year. They've put up with a lot of criticism, they've put up with injuries, they've played through all sorts of weather conditions to get to this particular day in September. And one of the unique things about Australian rules football and VFL grand finals, unlike other lot of top sporting events, you only get 1 shot at it, unless it's a draw, of course. But it's not like basketball, it's not like baseball. It's a one-off event, and you've got to produce your best on one given day, and that's where the pressure comes in a grand final. There's no tomorrow.
The sports psychologists say these days that you can tell certain amount by what's in the players' faces just before a contest. So as we listen to the national anthem, we might have a close look at a few of those faces.
Well, they're a lot better than I am, Tim, because they all look blank to me.
I would ask the two captains to join me here, Michael Tuck of Hawthorn, Steve Kernahan of Carlton, and to toss the coin, our Wimbledon champion, Pat Cash. This is an Australian nugget. Now, Mike, you can have a good look at it. Steve Kernahan has the call. Ready to toss, Pat? Right. Heads and nugget. Heads is a call from Steve Kernahan, and it's come up tails. Michael Tuck has the choice. Go to the scoreboard end. Hawthorn have won the toss and are kicking to the scoreboard end. Ladies and gentlemen, before the start of the grand final, what about another big hand for our Wimbledon champion, Pat Cash? Well done, Patrick. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Victorian Football League, we do hope you're going to have a wonderful day at the Speedo Grand Final of 1987. And may we say this, may the better team win. Have a great day.